Two brothers. Same job, same paycheck for 30 years, same everything. But one of them is going to collect over $1,000 more every single month for the rest of his life. And it ain't because he was smarter. It ain't because he saved more. It's because of one decision he made that his brother got wrong. Meet Gary. The day he turned 62, he marched right down to the Social Security office and signed up. "I ain't waiting," he said. "I paid in my whole life. I'm taking my money now." His brother Dale? Dale waited. And folks, 20 years later, those two brothers are living very different retirements. Because here's the thing nobody tells you straight. The age you claim Social Security might be the single biggest money decision of your whole retirement. Bigger than your 401k, bigger than your house, and you only get one shot at it. Get it right, and you lock in thousands of extra dollars a year, guaranteed for life. Get it wrong, and you leave that money on the table forever. 62, 67, or 70, three numbers, and the difference between them can be a six-figure swing over your retirement. I've watched folks get this wrong for 30 years. Good people, hard-working people, who grabbed their check too early out of fear and regretted it for the next 20 years. And I've watched others wait and breathe easy the rest of their lives. The difference wasn't luck. It was understanding how this actually works. I'm Earl, and today I'm going to show you exactly what happens at 62, at 67, and at 70. The real math, in plain English. And more important, how to figure out the right age for you. Because the truth is, the best age ain't the same for everybody. By the end, you'll know yours. If you're anywhere near this decision, do yourself a favor and hit that subscribe button right now. I break down real retirement money like this every single week. No hype, no fear. All right, let's start with what these three numbers actually mean. Because most folks don't really know, and that's exactly how they end up losing money. First thing you gotta understand is something called your full retirement age. The folks at Social Security call it your FRA. For most people retiring today, that's 67. Think of 67 as your baseline. That's the age where you get your full check, 100% of what you earned. Not a penny more, not a penny less. Now, Social Security lets you start as early as 62. But here's the catch nobody likes to say out loud. Claim early, and that check gets cut. Permanently. We're talking a reduction of up to 30% compared to your full amount. And that ain't a temporary thing. That smaller check follows you the rest of your life. On the flip side, you can wait past 67. And for every year you hold off, all the way up to 70, your check grows by about 8%. Wait till 70, and you're looking at a check that's 24% bigger than your full amount. Again, for life. Let me put real numbers on it, because that's where it hits home. Say your full check at 67 would be $2,000 a month. Claim at 62 instead, and that $2,000 drops to about $1,400. Wait till 70, and it jumps up to around $2,480. So look at that spread. $1,400 at the low end, $2,480 at the high end. That's a 77% difference. From the same work history, same person. That's not a typo, folks. The exact same lifetime of work can pay you $1,400 a month or nearly $2,500 a month, depending on one decision. Now, your number ain't going to be exactly 2,000. Could be more, could be less. But the percentages? They work the same for everybody. The math don't change. So the real question becomes, which one's right for you? And to answer that, we gotta look at each age honest, the good and the bad. Let's start where most folks start. 62. 62. The earliest you can claim, and by far the most popular age people choose. And I get it. I really do. The pull to take it early is strong. Let me tell you why folks grab it at 62, because some of these reasons are real good ones. First, the money shows up now. You've been working 40 years, you're tired, and the idea of finally getting something back today feels real good. Second, there's the fear. What if the system runs out of money? What if I don't live long enough? I better grab mine while I can. A lot of folks claim early out of that worry. And third, sometimes you just plain need it. Maybe the job ended sooner than you planned. Maybe your health ain't great. For some folks, 62 ain't a choice. It's a necessity. And if that's you, hear me clearly. There is no shame in claiming at 62. Sometimes it's exactly the right call, and I'll show you when. But you gotta go in with your eyes open. Because here's the part the excitement hides. That 30% cut is permanent. It don't bounce back at 67. You are locking in the smaller check for good. And it gets a little deeper than that. Every year, Social Security gives a cost of living raise. They call it the COLA. It's a percentage bump to keep up with inflation. But a percentage of a smaller check is a smaller raise. So, claiming early, don't just shrink your check today. It shrinks every raise you'll ever get on top of it. That gap grows over time. Then there's your spouse. This one's big, and most folks miss it completely. When you pass, your spouse can step up to your benefit if it's bigger than theirs. It's called the survivor benefit. But if you locked in a small check at 62, that's the check your spouse is stuck with after you're gone. Claiming early don't just affect you. It can shortchange the person you leave behind. And one more trap, if you're still working. If you claim before your full retirement age and you're still pulling a paycheck, Social Security can temporarily hold back part of your benefit. In 2026, if you earn over about $24,500 while claiming early, they dock $1 for every $2 you go over. So claiming early while working can be the worst of both worlds. So when does 62 actually make sense? Let me be straight with you, 'cause it does for some folks. If your health ain't good, and your family history says a long life ain't likely, taking it early can be the smart move. Get the money while you can enjoy it. If you genuinely need the income to keep a roof over your head and food on the table, then a smaller check today beats no check today. Survival comes first. Always. And if you're single, with no spouse who'd depend on that survivor benefit, the early claim math gets a little friendlier too. That's our brother Gary, by the way. He claimed at 62. But here's the thing. Gary was healthy as a horse, had a good pension, and didn't really need the money yet. He just got spooked. Gary claimed early out of fear, not out of need. And that, folks, is the most expensive reason there is to claim at 62. Fear is a terrible financial advisor. So if 62 is the early gamble, let's look at the age the system's actually built around. The one they call full retirement. 67. 67. Your full retirement age. This is the baseline the whole system is designed around. And for a lot of folks, it's the sweet spot. The Goldilocks number. Not too early, not too late. So what do you get at 67? Simple. You get your full check. The whole 100% you earned over your career. No reduction, no penalty, nothing held back. That 30% cut you'd take at 62? Gone. You waited, and now you're collecting every dollar you're entitled to. That's a big deal. And here's a real nice perk that kicks in at full retirement age. That earnings test we talked about, where they dock your check if you're still working, it disappears completely. At 67, you can work as much as you want, earn as much as you want, and Social Security won't hold back a single dollar. Work? Don't work? It's all yours. So for a lot of people, 67 hits that perfect balance. You're not taking the big permanent cut from claiming early, but you're also not waiting so long that you're white-knuckling it. hoping you live long enough to make waiting worth it. It's the middle path. Solid, safe, sensible. And honestly, if all this talk of 62 versus 70 is making your head spin, 67 is rarely a bad answer. It's the default for a reason. But, and you knew there was a but coming, 67 ain't the maximum. By stopping here, you're leaving one more big raise on the table. Remember, every year you wait past 67, your check grows another 8%. So the question becomes, is it worth holding out just a little longer? For some folks, absolutely not. For others, it's the smartest money move they'll ever make. So let's look at what happens when you go all the way. 70. Now, before we get there, let me say this. Choosing 67 means you understood the game and made a solid play. There's wisdom in taking the sure thing. A lot of wealthy retirees I've known landed right here at 67, took their full check, and never looked back. No regrets. It's a winner's choice. The only reason to push past it is if you've got good reason to believe you'll be around a good long while. And if that's you, well, 70's got something special waiting. But it takes patience, and it takes a plan to bridge the gap. Most folks who fail at waiting don't fail because it was a bad idea. They fail because they didn't plan how to get there. So let's talk about how to actually pull off waiting till 70, and whether the big payoff is really worth it for you. Quick gut check before we go on. If you're finding this useful, and I hope you are, just hit that like button real quick. It helps me get this in front of other folks facing the same decision. All right, let's talk about the big one. 70. 70 is the finish line. It's the latest age that waiting actually pays you more. After 70, there's no bonus for holding out, so there's never a reason to wait past it. But getting to 70, that's where the biggest checks in the whole system live. Let's see just how big. Remember our baseline. $2,000 a month at 67. Wait the full 3 years to 70, and that check grows to around $2,480. That's an extra $480 a month, almost $5,700 a year. Guaranteed, government-backed, for the rest of your life, just for waiting 3 years. And it gets better, 'cause that bigger check has a bigger engine behind it. Remember the COLA, the yearly inflation raise? Every one of those raises is now calculated off your bigger number. So your lead don't just stay the same. It grows wider every single year for the rest of your life. That's compounding in your favor. There's another quiet benefit, too. Taxes and Medicare. A healthy Social Security check can mean you're pulling less from your taxable retirement accounts to cover your bills. And that can mean a lower tax bill, and sometimes lower Medicare costs down the road. A bigger guaranteed check gives you more room to manage everything else. And here's the one that matters most if you're married. That survivor benefit we talked about? When you wait till 70, you lock in the biggest possible check for your spouse. If you go first, your spouse steps up to that big number. Waiting till 70 ain't just protecting you. It's the most powerful way there is to protect the one you love after you're gone. So that's the upside, and it's a heck of an upside. But I promised you both sides, so let's talk about the catch. 'Cause there's always a catch. The obvious one. If you ain't working anymore, how do you pay the bills from retirement until 70? That money's gotta come from somewhere. That's the bridge. For most folks who wait, they're living off their savings, their 401k, or their IRA in those gap years, letting that Social Security check grow in the background. And honestly, that can be a beautiful strategy. You're spending down the money that'd get taxed anyway, while your guaranteed inflation-protected check keeps getting bigger. But it takes a plan. And the second catch is the big question hanging over this whole thing. The one nobody can answer for sure. How long are you going to live? Because waiting till 70 is a bit of a bet. You're giving up checks in your 60s to get bigger checks later. And whether that pays off depends entirely on how long you're around to collect. And that, folks, brings us to the single most important idea in this whole video. The thing that actually decides which age is right. It's called the break-even point. So let's break it down simple, because once you get this, the whole decision finally makes sense. Here's the break-even idea in plain English. If you claim early, you start getting checks sooner, so you jump out to an early lead in total dollars collected. If you wait, you get nothing for those first few years, so you start out behind. But your checks are way bigger. So slowly, year by year, you start catching up to the early claimer. And at some point, the waiter passes the early claimer in total money collected and never looks back. That crossover point is the break-even. For most folks, comparing claiming early versus waiting, that break-even lands somewhere in the early 80s. Give or take, depending on your exact numbers. So, here's how to think about it. Clear as I can make it. If you don't make it to your early 80s, claiming earlier comes out ahead. You collected more, total. But if you live past your early 80s, and a whole lot of folks do these days, then waiting wins. And the longer you live, the bigger that win gets. So the real question ain't really about money at all. It's about you. How's your health? What's your family history? Did your folks and grandfolks live long lives? If you come from a family that lives into their 90s, waiting looks awful smart. If your health is shaky and longevity ain't in the cards, claiming earlier makes more sense. You actually know things about your own life that no government chart does. That personal knowledge is the most important number in this whole equation. Don't ignore it. And if you're married, you lean toward waiting even more. Why? 'Cause you ain't just betting on your own life anymore. That big check protects your spouse for as long as either of you is alive. With two lives in the picture, the odds that someone collects those big checks for a long time go way up. That's why so many financial folks tell the higher earner in a marriage to wait as long as they can. It ain't about your lifespan. It's about protecting too. Let me show you how this played out for our two brothers, Gary and Dale. Same career, same paycheck, same full retirement benefit of $2,000. Gary claimed at 62, locked in about $1,400 a month. Felt great those first few years, while Dale was getting nothing, still living off his savings. For a while there, Gary was ahead, and he let Dale know it. "Should have taken yours when you could," he'd say. And early on, the numbers backed him up. Then Dale turned 70 and switched his on. $2,480 a month, a full $1,000 more than Gary, every month for the rest of his life. Year by year, Dale closed the gap. And right around 82, he passed Gary in total dollars collected. From that day on, Dale pulls further ahead every single month. Both brothers are 85 now. Dale's collecting over $1,000 more a month, and his yearly raises are bigger too, 'cause they're built on a bigger number. Same job, same money, paid in. One decision, made 40-some years apart in how they thought about it, and a six-figure difference in the end. Now, I gotta be fair to Gary here. If Gary had passed at 75, he'd have come out ahead. He wasn't dumb to claim early. He just bet on a short life and lost that bet by living long. And that's the whole thing in a nutshell. There ain't one right answer for everybody. There's only the right answer for you, based on your health, your family, and your situation. So, let me give you a simple way to land on your own number. A few honest questions, and your answer starts to come into focus. Question 1. Do you need the money at 62 to cover your basic bills? If yes, claim it. Survival beats strategy every time. Don't feel one bit bad about it. Question 2. How's your health, honestly? And how long did your parents and grandparents live? Long-living family leans you toward waiting. health troubles lean you toward claiming sooner. Question 3. Are you married and are you the higher earner? If yes, there's a strong case to wait, to lock in that big survivor check for your spouse. Question 4. Can you build a bridge? If you've got savings or a 401k to live on for a few years, you've got the power to wait and grab those bigger checks. Answer those 4 honest, and your right age ain't such a mystery anymore. For a lot of healthy, married folks with a little savings, waiting toward 70 is the quiet winner. For folks in poorer health, or who really need the income, 62 or 67 is nothing to apologize for. It's the right call for your life. The point ain't to claim as late as possible. The point is to claim at the age that's right for your life on purpose, instead of grabbing it early out of fear like Gary did. Because that's the real lesson in all this. Gary didn't lose out 'cause 62 is always wrong. He lost out 'cause he never ran the numbers. He just reacted. Dale won 'cause he stopped, looked at his health, his wife, his savings, and made a calm decision. Same family, same money. One planned, one panicked. So don't be Gary, grabbing it out of fear. And don't blindly be Dale either, waiting just 'cause somebody on the internet said so. Be the version of you that decided on purpose. Let me leave you with the quick version you can actually use. 3 numbers, 3 different lives. 62, the early check. Smaller, permanent, but it's there when you need it. Right for poor health, real need, or no spouse to protect. 67, the full check. No cut, no penalty, work all you want. The safe, sensible middle that's rarely a bad call. 70, the biggest check there is. Best for good health, a long family line, and married folks looking to protect the one they love. The patient person's reward. And the secret behind all 3? It ain't about beating the system. It's about knowing yourself honest and matching your claim to your real life. That's the whole ball game. Not the perfect age in some book. The right age for the actual life you're living. So here's what I want you to do this week. Pull up your Social Security statement. It's free, right there on their website. Look at your 3 numbers, 62, 67, and 70. Just looking at your actual numbers instead of guessing puts you ahead of most people walking into this decision. That's how it starts, with one honest look. Then sit down with those 4 questions. Your health, your family, your spouse, your savings. Let your own life tell you the answer. It's been there the whole time. And tell me in the comments, are you a Gary or a Dale? Are you leaning early, full, or all the way to 70? I read every single one, and I answer. Your story might be exactly what helps somebody else reading those comments make their own decision. We're all figuring this out together. And if this cleared things up for you, even a little, do me 2 quick favors. They don't cost you a thing, and they mean the world to me. First, hit that like button. It genuinely helps another retiree find this video and feel a little less lost about the biggest check of their life. And second, if you ain't subscribed yet, come on and join us. Every week I break down real retirement money like this, in plain talk, no hype, no fear, just what actually works. That way, the next big money decision you're starting to face, you won't face it guessing. You'll already understand how it works before you ever have to choose. Because that's what we do here. We take the money you worked your whole life for, and we make sure you keep every dollar you're entitled to. Social Security is the one check that lasts as long as you do. Getting this decision right might be worth more than any investment you ever make. It deserves a little of your time. You earned every penny of this benefit over a lifetime of hard work. Don't leave a dime of it on the table just 'cause nobody ever explained how it works. Now you know how it works. The 3 ages, the break-even, the 4 questions. That's more than most folks ever learn about it. I'm Earl. This has been Earl's Money Talk, where we turn the money you worked for into the retirement you deserve. Go pull up that statement this week. Look at your three numbers and start making this decision the smart way. On purpose. Because the best time to figure out your Social Security was the day you started working. And the second best time is today. You worked a lifetime for this. Now take a little time to claim it right. Take good care of yourself. And take good care of that check you earned. You've got the 3 ages. You've got the 4 questions. You've got everything you need to make this call with confidence. I'll see you in the very next one. Until then, this is Earl, reminding you it's never too late to make a smart move with your money.